Each and every week at this time, we're joined by our friend Casey Joyner from the footballscientist.com, also works for The Athletic. He will be doing his live blog tonight during Thursday Night Football for The Athletic. Casey, thank you for your time. As always, people listening, you can text us 916-339-1140. You can call us 1-800-920-1140 if you have fantasy questions. Also, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Casey, let's start here locally. Only 1 week. I understand we're 1 week in, but when would you start to get concerned about Trey Lance if you were starting him in your fantasy league?
Not yet. Wouldn't be too worried about him. I've got him in 12th in my quarterback charts with my Pager subscription service. I've got him in 12th on my start to charts because look at last week. It's rain and it's wind. It's not just rain. It's rain and wind. You put most quarterbacks in that situation, they're not going to fare very well. So I'm looking at going, you got plenty of carries. You can't judge the passing game because of those situations. I'm not going to worry about him unless he struggles this week. If he does this week, then I'm a bit more concerned because it might be Garoppolo time before you know it. But right now, not worried about it from fantasy perspective.
I'm with you on the performance part of it, that the rain and the wind certainly affected it, and we should expect some growing pains from Trey Lance. But if I'm a fantasy player and I have Trey Lance on my team, the thing I don't like to see is when he did run, the style with which he ran, Case. It was very physical and taking on some big hits from some big dudes.
Yeah, you want to plan that out a little bit. You'll see young quarterbacks will try to do, even Josh Allen can get away with it because he's 6'5", 240, whatever. Mm-hmm. He's as big as a linebacker. He can do that. And even he knows enough to say, hey, there are hits that I need to not take. I need to be watching out for those hits. And you can look at Patrick Mahomes used to be scrambling. Now, after he took that knee injury a few years ago on that sneak, he really is more careful about it. Russell Wilson he scrambles to pass, so he'll learn that eventually. But I'd like to see them give him the RPO runs and then say, okay, find a place to go, or go take on a cornerback. They can't really hurt you.
Since we're on the subject, our first text line question is Trey Lance or Jared Goff for QB2 this week.
I would go. I've got Goff. I don't like the matchup so much against the Commanders. I think the Lions also run the ball a lot. The Commanders have some defensive line issues, so I think it'll force the Lions to want to throw the ball more. So I got Lance 12th in my quarterback charts, and I got Goff 23rd. I don't even think Goff in most cases is a quality QB2.
Casey Joyner with us here, Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports. Ryan on the YouTube chat, do you start George Kittle with the groin injury and inclement weather if he plays this weekend?
If I have another option, I've got him fifth in my charts. If I have another option, though, I always take a tack of I want to bake out as much risk as I can out of players. So I don't want to start injured players. If there's weather, I don't want to start them. If I have alternate options that I can put somebody out there, I'm going to do that because I've got him ranked fifth in my charts. I'm still because in large part because I like the matchup, 86 out of 100 matchup points. I like that, but in general, I would try and find other options. Not sure there are a ton of them out there, but I'll tell you one guy I think about is Albert Ogbunam for Denver. I like him as he's a Denver tight end who's going to have a good matchup against the Texans. I have a feeling that if you're in a PPR league, you could put him in for Kittle and make sure you get a much higher floor because Kittle, if things don't go well, he's got a 0 floor.
Here's another question on the text line. Still time to text your questions in 916-339-1140. Who to start at flex, Cordarrelle Patterson or Jerry Jeudy?
Cordarrelle Patterson or Jerry Jeudy. Now, Patterson ran a lot this past week, but I have a feeling it's the Denver. What happened in Seattle, because when you look at the first half of that game, I think they targeted the wide receivers, Sutton and Jeudy, one time in that game. I think Seattle did some things defensively to take some things away from Wilson, and I think he was just rattled being up there in Seattle. The fans were booing him like they were, because they were, as they said in Manningcast, those weren't regular boos. Those were "we don't like you" boos that he was surprised to hear. I think being in front of the home crowd, they're going to want to get that passing game going. So I like Judy's upset this week.
Casey Joyner with us, footballscientist.com from Run DMG YouTube channel. On the chat, Robbie Anderson, you starting him this week at the Giants?
I am, because they're funneling a lot of passes to him. I know that the big touchdown pass last week happened because of blown coverage, but if you watch the way he's in sync with Mayfield, Robbie Anderson looked like last year that he just didn't care. He's he was not motivated to be out there, didn't like the whole situation. If he didn't like the coach, if he didn't like Corbett, whatever it was, he didn't like his situation. you can see from the last week's game, he likes where his situation is now. So I think they're going to keep funneling a lot of passes his way. We're finally going to see the Robbie Anderson we were all expecting to see.
Text here, Knox or Higbee at tight end?
Knox or Higbee? Tough call there. I'm not big on Higbee this week, not as big as a lot of people are. Boy, that's a tough call, though. I would probably say Knox by a very small margin because I don't like how little he got used last week, and I don't like his matchup. I might look elsewhere. Again, if you can get old Guggenheim, I would start him over both of them.
KC, Joyner with us. Don't forget, text 916-339-1140 if you have a fantasy question, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. KC, David in the YouTube chat, I'm in a daily fantasy league. What defense should I pick up this week?
Give you my defensive rankings. My top defenses right for this week: Buffalo, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Baltimore, the Rams, the Browns, the Packers, Cowboys, Dolphins, and Colts are my top 10 in defenses. I really like Baltimore against Miami because Miami might be starting 2 backup tackles on the road against a very big Baltimore secondary. Quick note for there. Tua Tagovailoa, he has thrown an interception in a road start in 7 straight games. Guy throws picks when he's on the road.
And here's one more text. Everett or Taysom Hill at tight end? Is Taysom Hill listed as a tight end in fantasy leagues? Okay.
In some environments, yeah, he is. I would probably go Taysom because he got carries last week, too. If he's available for you as a tight end, he's a great tight end pick. In some environments, though, he is listed elsewhere because he's kind of an H-back is really what he should be, and that kind of would be a running back, but some leagues are saying, yeah, we can go and play him as tight end.
KC Joyner, footballscientist.com, The Athletic live blog tonight during Thursday Night Football for The Athletic. KC, thank you for your time. We'll do it again next week, my friend.
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Thank you. There goes